Hey, what's up guys, it's Matt, welcome back, and today we're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Fair warning going into this guys, I am going to be talking about the show as a whole, so there will be spoilers. If you've not seen it all yet and you don't want anything to spoil, go away, watch it, and then come back for the rest of the video. Marvel's second foray into episodic television streaming, it's been enjoyable. It has really been enjoyable. For me personally, I think WandaVision was better. I think this show has suffered from a couple of pacing issues overall. Not that I didn't enjoy it, like I did really like it. I just think WandaVision as a complete story was told so much better and delivered so much better than this. So the basic plot of this sees Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam and Bucky, team up to tackle a group of terrorists, but basically they want the world to go back to how it was during the blip. In terms of the fact that there were no borders, because half the people of the world had disappeared and kind of the world came together as one world, sounds like a really nice place. Obviously following on from the blip, everyone's back, the world's trying to go back to normal, and people have moved countries and completely changed their lives, and you know, all of a sudden now they're being told, well look, you can't be here anymore, you've got to go home. Problem is though, is that the terrorist organisation are all super soldiers, so of course you're going to need two former Avengers to team up to tackle them. And what do two former Avengers need? They need help from a bad guy. So Sam and Bucky go ahead and recruit Zemo from Captain America Civil War to sort of help them in their quest. Along the way, they of course kind of encounter and have a few run-ins with the new Captain America, John Walker, who was kind of sanctioned by the US Army. Behind everyone's back really. Sam was given the shield, obviously, by Captain America. He decided to donate it to a museum, and then the government just came in, took it out of a museum, and just gave it to some other random guy. The show basically deals with themes of redemption, atonement, accepting your place in the world, being the best person you can be. And, you know, it deals heavily with what does it mean to be Captain America. I think for the most part, the show does a really good job of it. It just has, throughout its 6 episodes, just some really odd pacing issues. Some plot points are brought in and teased that just kind of go nowhere. So one such thing, during the show, obviously the guys go to Madripoor and they meet back up with Sharon Carter and they kind of enlist her for help. But while they're in Madripoor, they learn of a shadowy, evil person in the background who's kind of responsible for these super soldiers called the Power Broker. Fans quickly figured out and a twist was made. It turns out that Sharon Carter is the Power Broker. It's the twist that everyone saw coming. Yeah, that was kind of badly done, but again, I wasn't like, oh, obvious. It didn't take away from the show for me. What did take away from the show for me is that it kind of just went nowhere. Yeah, we see her do a couple of odd things behind the scenes where you're like, oh, that seems like it's gonna mess up Sam and Bucky or whatever, but she never kind of outrightly betrays them. And the way her story's left, it's kind of like, okay, what's she going to do next? But I feel like there was a missed opportunity in the show here to explain how she became the Power Broker. Like, last we saw her was at the end of Civil War. She had sided with Captain America and was obviously a fugitive, an outlaw. The blip happened, she wasn't blipped. You know, obviously life was hard, she was on the run, she had to, you know, do some dodgy dealings with some dodgy people, yada yada yada. And eventually decided, you know what, being a bit of a bad guy is probably better off than being a good guy. Show us that, though. That could have taken up half an episode. Just give us some sort of justification for why, like, I can get it. I'm fine with her being the Power Broker and being this kind of bad guy, but not bad guy kind of thing. But just show us why. Like, what are you saving that for? Obviously, following on now from the completion of the show, they have announced that they are doing a Captain America 4. Is that going to be dealt with in that, or is that going to be something else? Is there going to be a follow-up season to this? I just feel like, give us more of that. One thing this show doesn't address, and I also think WandaVision was a bit lacking for not addressing it, but I can forgive it more with WandaVision because the story's centered around Wanda being crazy and manipulated by a witch. But this show doesn't really address what's happened to the Avengers in a post-Endgame world. Obviously that's something Marvel's gonna build up to, but the fact that Sam is Falcon, he was an Avenger, fair enough he was on the run with Cap for years, but he was an Avenger. The fact that Captain America left him a shield, he's been pardoned, Bucky's been pardoned, the American government's made a new Captain America. What is the current state of the Avengers? Are they a thing anymore? Are they not a thing anymore? It's just something the show doesn't really address, and it doesn't take away from the show at all. I just feel like it's something that probably should be addressed, and if you were going to address it in any of these shows, you would do so in this. Again, Spider-Man Far From Home kind of didn't address what is the state of the Avengers in the post-Endgame world. And I think it's just odd that that hasn't been addressed as of yet. Yeah, there were just a few unsatisfying notes throughout. Zemo as well. They brought him in. Daniel Bruhl absolutely crushed it. Kind of got to see more of Zemo as a person. And he absolutely crushed it. Every single scene he was in, he just stole. He was really, really good. And then it's just kind of like, right, he's helped us do this. The Wakandans are after him, which was a really nice bit of kind of like universe tie-in thing. I really enjoyed that. And then he was just gone. He was just off. And he wasn't there for kind of the final conflict, the last 2 episodes. Like, he just wasn't there. And it was just a bit like, oh, okay. It's just, that's just really unsatisfying. I just feel overall this show, it was definitely a couple of episodes short. John Walker, the new Captain America. Obviously he comes, he's a bit cocky, his friend dies, he takes some super soldier serum and he starts, you know, we'd already kind of seen that he was going a bit crazy, you know, kind of the weight, the responsibility of being Captain America. What does it mean? You know, what's expected of me? Was getting down on him and, you know, he's kind of losing it a little bit. And then it's just kind of really quickly turned around at the end. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the turnaround. Like, obviously he goes too far and he's like, right, okay, I can't be Captain America, but I can be something else. I can still be a force for good, but I can't live up to this impossible symbol here. You know, it's not doable. I just needed another episode of him being crazy. Another episode of him going too far and then having to be brought back. Whereas his switch was just kind of like, oh yeah, he's going a bit crazy, he kills a guy, but then he goes crazier still, and then he just kind of switches back. And it was just too quick. That final switch round was just too fast for me. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan absolutely crush it throughout as Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think some of the earlier dialogue kind of felt a bit like they were reciting lines to each other, but as the show went on, I found them believable as kind of like buddies, bros, you know, hanging out. I kind of really enjoyed the chemistry between them. Winter Soldier, though, I did feel they kind of nerfed a bit. Like, he was this badass assassin going around killing people for years and years and years and years. And, you know, fair enough, I know he's going up against some super soldiers now in this, but it just kind of felt like he was getting his ass handed to him a little too much throughout the show. Like, I kind of thought he was more badass than that. Like, he is stronger than Sam. Sam is just a man, but he's got the Falcon suit, you know, so he has to use technology to his advantage and so on. But at times it just felt that Sam was dealing with situations far better than what he was dealing with. Yeah, I don't know, I just felt they kind of nerfed the Winter Soldier's powers a little bit throughout this, and I don't really understand why. Wyatt Russell as John Walker, the new Captain America or US agent, yeah, he was good. Like, he was a douchebag. Like, you did not like the new Captain America, and when he decapitated the guy with a shield, you were like, oh wow, you are a twat. As I said though, I was perfectly happy for his character to kind of come back around and ultimately be well, we think he's going to be a force for good. Obviously, it's kind of left open what his future's going to be. But he seems like he's going to be a force for good. Aaron Kellyman, the leader of the terrorist organisation. I always kind of feel bad criticising actors and actresses for what they do, but I just couldn't... What the character was going through and the kind of never-ending, like, you know, having to commit worse and worse atrocities to try get her extremist message across. I just didn't buy it so much from her though. She just always kind of seemed like, am I bothered? Am I bothered? Am I bothered? I don't know, there just wasn't enough kind of like, passion behind her and you know, her actions and her cause. And she was the same when she appeared in Solo. She's just kind of a very, no, this isn't what we're going to do. They won't listen to us. No. No, that's not what you want, man. You just want some, like, Obviously, the big reveal at the end, when Sam comes finally in his, like, Captain America Falcon costume. Again, something that wasn't really clarified in the show. Like, Bucky got that made by the Wakandans. So not only has he now got the vibranium shield, but I assume he's got a vibranium Falcon outfit, which is pretty badass, but the show doesn't actually confirm that. It's made by the Wakandans. So are we supposed to take that? Because there's a big difference if it's still just a normal Falcon suit compared to a vibranium Falcon suit. But I'm gonna go with the Wakandans love their vibranium, that it's probably made out of that. The costume looks sick though. I was kind of concerned. I was like, okay, that costume in the comics, like, yeah, it looks good. I was like, there's no way that's going to look good live action. But they've actually kept it quite truthful to the comic version. And I think it does look really, really, really good. I'm excited now for Captain America 4. You know, something different. You know, hopefully, they've not fully said yet, but hopefully the film will revolve around Sam as Captain America. I'm really excited to see what they do with it. I kind of hope that they tie up some of these plot points. So overall, I did really, really enjoy the show. As I said, I think it just suffered from a few pacing issues and just kind of a few loose narrative threads that weren't kind of tied up satisfactorily for my liking, which they're obviously going to address in Captain America 4, or apparently there's potential talks of them doing a second series of this as well, so I assume that's stuff that will be tackled then. Should have been done in this show though, really, and I think it would have been advantageous if they'd done maybe another 2 episodes. But hey ho, there we go. So guys, have you seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What did you think of it? Do let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, do give it a like, do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.